Well, I'm here to review step number 5 of the 67 steps by Tai Lopez. The 67 different ideas and frameworks that you need to have in your head to live the best life possible. This one was a really good lesson, and it's called My Poor Friends and Cameron Diaz's Parrot. The difference how rich people and poor people assimilate knowledge. And right off the bat, it's a little offensive to say rich people and poor people, so Tai gets specific in his definition of that. And his definition of that, rich people and poor people, is who's optimized the 4 areas of the good life: health, wealth, love, and happiness. And those are rich people, and the people that have de-optimized those things, he refers to them as poor people. Or you could say the difference of successful people and unsuccessful people. Right off the bat, Tai gives some specific examples of observations that he's made of successful people that he's met in life. One of those observations was that rich people and successful people are full of quotes. They're full of other sources of information, other people's information, so that shows that they have a humility, that they don't have all the answers. But poor people are always spouting off their opinion. I think this, I think that, the government ought to do this with funding, and this is how they should balance the budget. But oftentimes that same person that's quick to give their opinion about balancing the budget doesn't have a penny to their name and can't even balance their own checkbook. So it's about the awareness of the difference of mindset of the rich and the poor. Because when you can become aware of these differences, it will help you navigate your decision making, because you can copy the people that you want to be like and not copy the people you don't want to be like. Because as Dan Pena says, success leaves clues. An example in the area of health that Tai noticed in very successful people was told in a story when he went to Ron Artest's birthday party. Excuse me. Ron Artest's birthday party. And Ron Artest is a famous basketball player on the Houston Rockets. And at this party for him, there was a bunch of catered food, and most of the guests there were eating all of the catered food, like the beers, nachos, chicken wings. But Tai noticed Ron Artest was the only person eating just a salad and drinking water. And Tai made the observation that here's this, top athlete in the room, the most healthy person here, who could probably get away with a cheat meal, but Ron Artest was disciplined and stoic in his health approach. So rich people, successful people have discipline. Usually poor people have no discipline whatsoever in any area of their life. In the area of wealth, I want you to notice the differences of the people in your life who are successful and unsuccessful, and notice particularly what each of those groups buy and what each of those groups don't buy. For example, I noticed that with my really wealthy friends, they buy cash producing assets. They buy businesses that they're not necessarily a cost, they're a investment, because they're going to produce cash flowing assets right off the bat. Whereas poor people buy things that RRD, rust, rot, and depreciate. They buy things like cars, lottery tickets, stuff at Walmart, stuff that's commodities and not investments. So, because a lot of times I've noticed that very unsuccessful people aren't long-term thinkers, and by definition, investors are long-term seekers. And long-term thinkers. They're interested in the long haul, and they're interested in the reward in the future. They're willing to give up and starve out immediate self-gratification to get the bigger payoff in the future. And I think most people, the common person that's not successful, isn't thinking long-term whatsoever. They're just living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. In the area of love, Ty explained how he used to live with the Amish, and he lived with the Chubb family, Sam Chubb and his wife and their children. And Ty noticed a difference of, because Ty explains that in his perspective, in his opinion, the Amish are the most rich in the social area of life, the love area. And Ty noticed a big difference between the Amish's kids and the common person's kids. He noticed that the common person's kids are kind of annoying and spoiled brats, but the Amish children were very respectful, very well behaved, very disciplined, because he noticed when he sat to eat dinner with the Chubb family, even when they went to go say grace and one of the kids acted out or went to go grab some food prematurely off the table, Sam Chubb and his wife were quick to slap their hand very gently, and the kids obeyed. Let's see, in the area of, and Ty also wants you to notice that rich people are open-minded and nimble and able to adapt, just like we mentioned in the first video, high level of adaptability. But poor people, unsuccessful people, tend to be easily offended. One example of this is Ty explains how he went to a marketing conference, and the person on stage mentioned that one good tip is that anyone that has a service business, you should turn that into a marketplace. Ty took that idea home with him, and a few days later, he saw a woman on Facebook advertising her new business where she's helping people find personal assistance. And very kindly, Ty just suggested, hey, you should turn this into a marketplace. And she was quick to block him and quick to be unappreciative of his input, and wrote him a nasty direct message just saying, how could you embarrass me, and blah, 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 blah. So she was quick to have an opinion of something that she was unfamiliar with, and she probably wound up being unsuccessful. So that's just a few examples of the differences that Ty's noticed in his own life of the rich and the poor people. But the real question is, are you noticing the differences in your life of rich people and poor people's behavior? Because you'll become like the people you're around, and you'll become like the people you replicate. And through this awareness, it will help you change. Because just like Eckhart Tolle says in his book, The Power of Now, awareness is the greatest agent for change. One other example that Ty noticed, I'm trying not to ramble on with this, but these are some really good points, and I'm trying to keep these brief, but there's so many good points in these videos. But another example Ty noticed was he was explaining how every year he goes to the Warren Buffett Berkshire Hathaway shareholders conference, and basically Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett get up on the stage and talk about the annual reports and blah, 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 blah. But shareholders are able to ask questions, and Ty noticed that one particular guy had a really thoughtful question for Warren Buffett, explained the question, and then about an investment that he was making, and then Warren Buffett was quick to kind of very politely shut him down and explain that that guy's math was wrong, that he was doing for this particular investment. And Warren Buffett was able to do that math algorithm in his head. So Ty notices that really wealthy people know math, and usually poor people, unsuccessful people, are poor in math, and they're not even interested in learning about its importance. And you don't have to necessarily know long division and, algebra, but you do need to know equations and ratios to be successful in business. So rich people know math. But so to finish this lesson, the question was, what is an example of a profound lesson you've learned watching rich people versus poor people in your life? And the second question is, what is one pattern you could implement to help rewire your brain? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on lesson number 6 of the 67 steps. Take care.